Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to a blast from the past. The Fender Sidekick 15 watt amp. Woo! Now this thing is ancient. This came across to me the other day, and yeah, it wasn't even operational, barely. So it's been getting saturated in deoxide and a few other little chemical concoctions to get the controls to work again, and we have it 99% functional. The mid-range has a little bit of touchiness to it in a few spots, but otherwise everything else came out nice and clean, and it is running awesome. Neat little amp for something this old. Like, this is like 35, 36 years old, somewhere around there. It's pretty old. I've seen a few of them online for sale for anywhere between $100 to $150, you know, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool, because the new Fender 15 watt amps that are out are kind of like, you know, usually about 100, 120 bucks. This one's actually been gaining some treads, and respectfully so. It has volume, it has a gain, it has a master, and then bass, mid, treble. No reverb in this unit, and it does have a headphone jack for full-sized headphone plug, of course your main input, and it has absolutely no problem running a wireless connection. So I thought, since the nostalgia is Fender, I thought I'd pull out my Fender Affinity Squire Strat that I just recently put single coils back into, and we're going to see how this thing sounds. Turn the gain right off. If you want some serious bite, not too shaggy. Not bad. Alright, let's run that gain right to the hilt. Better check my tuning. I think maybe I threw something out. I just put new strings on this the other day. Yep, I did. Yeah, just threw the G out a little bit. Not bad. Still stretching in. Okay, so I'm thinking what we want to do is we want to turn the master down. We want to put volume full. Volume full, gain full, master between the 1 and the 2. So about 830. So let's go the opposite direction. Let's put the master at full, gain at full, and main volume at the same spot. That's a little too obnoxious. Don't want to get the neighbors upset. So you can make it a little punchy, you know? Alright, cool. Let's bring that gain down. Volume. So go this way. Follow this way. Bass up. Pull treble back. Pull mid back. Well, it's nice to see Fender's reputation is completely intact. They're great little practice amps for beginners. They really are. I mean, it's an amp, right? And it's not some little tiny half a watt thing that can barely make any noise. I think, though, that for playing a strap through it, I'm really not securely keen on that idea. I think we need to try a humbucker guitar through this thing. I think that might actually help it a little bit. Let me just step across the camera for a sec. Alright, let's get the gold top Les Paul out. Alright, so volume full, gain full, master on the number 1. Or whatever. Bring that back. This full. This full. Ooh, that's obnoxious. It's gonna be hard to control the volume on that. Gain to 0. Okay, go back the other way. Gain at 8. Alright, so here's what I got for you. With a humbucker guitar, it definitely does improve things quite a lot. With a single coil, great for those high trebly things that you want to do. So if you're a real Hendrix freak, you can definitely get some of that kind of sort of tone haze going with those blistering single coils. I mean, come on, Fender to Fender, it's usually a good match, but some things you just don't really want to push on. Humbucker guitar works much better on the distortion, a lot cleaner for the sound. Of course, higher output pickups really don't hurt either. However, that being said, guys, considering the age of this amp, but even without considering the age of the amp, let me get past you here for a second. I mean, it is in fantastic shape for its age. It's doing really well, and I'm glad everything came back online as well as it did. This thing's like 98% easy, close to 99%. And the speaker has suffered no loss. This thing spent over 30 years sitting in its actual original box from the factory. So, yeah, not bad. So, anyhow, I really, it sounds so much like the newer ones today, which, I mean, they're not the world's best amps, but I mean, they are a great amp for getting a kid for a beginner amp. Definitely is going to do that. I'm sure if you ran straight out clean, forget the gain control at all, leave it off, throw some pedals in front of this thing, it'd probably sound like miles better, okay? But with its own stuff built in for gain, yeah, it's not the greatest on single coils. Much better improved on humbuckers though, but still it's kind of got that sound that I just can't get away from. And I've had an awful lot of these 15 watt amps from Fender. I've had different models of them, even with effects and no effects, and they all pretty much sound the same, with the exception, this one has a lot better control over the volume. I found the other Fender amps that basically, you know, they have less controls. They get too loud too fast, where this thing is so controllable. You know, you can run your main volume back here, run your master up here, you know, do what you want with the gain to add it. Instead of having a switch that's like basically full on gain or no gain, I mean, this is nice they have a rotary dial. That's something that they probably should have kept. But it is a lot cleaner. It is very nice and clean. On the clean side of things, it's that gain channel that typically sucks on them all. Well, it kind of sucks on this one too quite a bit. You know, but it can definitely get those blistering trebles up there. When you pull back the mid, you get that nice hollow sound of hardly any mid. It does have a little bit of good, decent bass response. I mean, it is an electric guitar amp. It's not a bass amp. But it does actually produce some bass, which is kind of nice. I think that, you know, overall, I mean, if you're looking for this, you know, for a beginner guitar player, then I'd say definitely go buy one. Definitely would be a great idea. And to get your hands on a vintage old Sidekick like this, I mean, there are a few of them left available for sale on the internet. I saw a few of them. Not many, but, you know, and some were in really rough shape, and others were like pristine like this one, you know. And that's a good thing, you know. I mean, they stand the test of time. You can't kill it, obviously, and believe me, this thing has tried to kill itself, because sitting that many years in a box, and I mean, I barely got any volume out of it to begin with, and it took an awful lot of deoxit and stuff to get the controls cleaned up enough that things would function, and it is doing really extremely well. It's almost as like it was when it was brand new in the box, kind of thing. It's almost as good as that. So that's pretty good. And the speaker's doing wonderful. It was, you know, being well protected by being sealed in the box, so it isn't dried out the cone or anything, so that's good. I would say if you can find one of these things in great shape, I would say definitely pick one up for a beginner, pick one up for nostalgic purposes. If you're a Fender 15 watt collector freakazoid, which there's bound to be a few of you out there, definitely add this to your collection if you don't have it already. For myself, though, I like more newer gear. I'm, you know, more into the new type of technology. But, you know, I've had my share of these amps. You know, if you check my YouTube channel, I've had a number of these different 15 watt Fender amps. I've had weird named amps that I can't even, and I've had Silvertone amps, and you know, sometimes I just pick them up just because the price is right, or you know, whatever, you know, get a deal on it, you know, part of a package, whatever. And you know, I like to check out stuff because you never know. I'm not against Fender amps completely. I had a Mustang, well, I've had a few of them. Didn't really care too much for the modeling part of them, but they worked great as PA speakers temporarily until I could afford real ones. You know, otherwise I'm really not a fan of the Mustang series amps at all. You know, and but the Fender Princeton Reverb, now there's an amp from Fender. That thing, oh my gosh, I plugged a Strat into one, I plugged a Les Paul into one, and I was like, man, if only I had the money for this. You know, because they're a fantastic amp from Fender. You know, so there's an exception there. Kevy does make exceptions, you know. That's one of them. But anyways, what do we do with this thing? Well, we definitely have to put a rating star on this thing for you guys, I'm sure. For what it is, for how it sounds, for the purpose in mind. It was marketed as a beginner's amp to begin with. They still are today. I'm going to say, let's give this thing, well, keep in mind the gain kind of does suck a bit, especially on single coils. A little bit better on a humbucker, though. But I would say let's put this thing at, I would go a solid 3 3/4 out of 5. And still recommend it, for sure, you know. try and get it as cheap as you can. You know, that's another thing. I mean, you know what you're buying into. And go with it from there. But I think as far as if you want to run overdrive and distortion, keep this gain channel at 0. Okay, and just put some pedals or a pedal effects processor in front of the amp, and I think you will have a fantastic little amp at that point, because it does have some nice clean to it. So that's definitely there. But it is typical gain, where the gain either it's too much or it's not enough, or it just plain out sucks, you know. But it is what it is, right? So anyways, that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys thought of this thing in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. More and more videos are coming our way. So, see ya!